Good morning in this little corner of life. I'm not going to comment on the weather. I think you can see how it is. Today I'm all dressed up. It's about to leave to go into the clinic and to make a new blood test to see what was going on with the numbers that was not all that well last time. It was my bilirubin number that was way too high. I think it's supposed to be 1.2 at the maximum when it was 3.4. And there were blood and protein in my urine. But I got a little bit lazy. Got dressed up for it, but it was cold in the morning. We're talking 15, 16 degrees, and it was dark and it was miserable. I just didn't feel like it. So I sat down and took a look at my phone and researched a little bit. And I've misunderstood something. The blood and the protein is not supposed to be there, obviously, but it is insignificant numbers, as my doctor said, which means it's not something alarming. It should not be there, so obviously it's something you have to watch out for, it's something you have to look into. But as I've mentioned, if you've seen my previous video, I did some rigorous exercise the day before. I ran a 5K in 28-29 minutes, and for me that is a rigorous exercise. So that's very likely to be the case. Now, I haven't done a urine test more than once before, so I do not have a trajectory. I do not know whether this has happened before, but I'm probably going to look into it depending on what they will charge me for that test, to do that a little bit more often. But that test, I'm probably going to do that tomorrow or something like that. I'm a bit busy today. The blood, my bilirubin was not the kidneys as I thought it was, which the blood and the protein in the urine is related to. My bilirubin is the liver. But I looked into it, and in most cases it is something that goes away by itself. In most cases it's called something called jaundice. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, and that is something that can happen with rigorous exercise. And I can see from the numbers that it has been increasing over the time that I've been doing these 6-month tests. But I've also been very focused on doing rigorous exercise because my Garmin keeps telling me that if I want to improve my fitness age, and if I want to improve my VO2 max, the requirement is that I do a certain amount of rigorous exercise. So I've had many days where going out running is not just something that I do because I have to, which sometimes is really boring, and I don't want to. I'm not listening to my body, I'm listening to the fact that it is day to do the running thing. I have to do it every second day. And then when I do get out running, I maybe take the first 500 meters and I feel like, okay, I can actually do it quite good today. And then I punch it. And then I just run hard, and I run as hard as I can. And obviously, if vigorous exercise is something that impacts that, and I do not listen to my body, it also have an impact on it. So what I think I will do is just to have another liver test when I do my next PSA in the beginning of next month. And in the meantime, I will see what I can do in order to bring it down on my own. I don't think 1 week is enough to really make any serious impact. It's in particular because the only thing I haven't done is running. Now that should be enough to make it moving in the right direction, I understand that. But I can do more than that. I can also eat some fiber, I saw, which is contradictory to my diet, which is carnivore. But on that note, one of the new things that I have started doing is getting yogurt in the morning for breakfast with a teaspoon of cranberry fiber. It is supposed to help something with the bladder so that your urine flows easier. It's a friend of mine who has suggested it to me, and I looked into it, and it seems to be right. It does help with the urine flow if you have cranberry fiber. So since it also helps with my bilirubin numbers, probably, I think I'll give that a shot. So the end of, no, not the end of this month, but in the beginning of next month, when I do the next PSA test, I will also be doing a liver test to verify, and then I'll have these this full month to make the changes. But the urine test is going to be made tomorrow, I think. Other than that, very interesting. I'm waiting for the gear to come in, and I'll be improving my RSO. And on that note, I have to say I'm a little bit puzzled, also annoyed. I have to say there's so much misinformation out there, and I really could say fact checkers are not worth much in these days. But there are some fact checkers who really would have loved to would have been out there because when we're looking at RSO, I don't think much of any of that sold out there is actually worth anything if it's made the same way as everybody is promoting it, how to make it, because you're destroying all the terpenes and you are taking out the THCA and the CBDA, which are some of the very important properties for cancer treatment. And yeah, well, I've got a very good supplier of cannabis buds, and I've just ordered 1 kilo of CBD, or Salsua Haze, which is a CBD strain, and it comes with a certificate and it comes with everything. And I'm going to make with hydrocarbon extraction some of the finest that I can get, and just not to waste all the RSO that I already have, then I will not be doing any decarboxylation of it. I will just be using it the way it is. That way I'll have it infused with a lot of CBDA and a lot of THCA that probably will raise the quality of my RSO. Since I have started using it, it seems that my urine flow has been slowing down. It seems it somehow seems infectious, or it gives me inflammation to use the RSO, but I'm not sure if it's that or something else. But for now, at least until I've done my urine test, I will not be doing the RSO. So yeah, that's where we are. I'm still very optimistic, and this is also very interesting because I was just looking at some of the videos, and I remember that at the end of December I had made a calculation saying that the 21st of February 2024 I would start doing ADT if I had not seen any positive change. By that time I did not see a positive change because my PSA was at the time 78 in December, and it's never been that low since. So the 21st of February, it certainly wasn't better. But here we are, closing in on 21st of February 2025, and we've still not started any protocols. And the reason being, there are still things to do. There are still ways to mitigate this. And when I started this out a year and a half ago, obviously it was all trying to walk in the blind because I had no idea what worked. There was a billion information out there. Everybody, they had their specific alternative protocols they said would work, but yeah, I say but I don't think all of it works. And as my number 78 actually kind of indicated from December 2023, then I think the biggest difference is the mental attitude. The more you believe in it, the more whatever you do will work, as long as it's not directly detrimental to your health. I mean, you cannot drink poison and then say, oh, I believe it works, and then it will do work. But there's so many good things out there, so as long as you're using simple logic and you're actually believing in it wholeheartedly, you will see positive results. And some things tells me that I'm in it for the long haul, and what I've been doing is right, although not very right, because I have believed in it, but it's not been moving the way it should be as much as it was expected. But I still believe that there is much to do. Like I said, now we have the RSO to improve. I also believe that the DMSO is going to take it's going to show some positive impact, but it all has to have time to work. And I believe that my CD is going to be part of that game as well. The one guy that I saw that had used a CD for his treatment very meticulously and adamantly during the whole protocol, and I'm not really doing the whole protocol, but he had stage 4 cancer. he spent about 2 years before he got his cancer under control. So this is not something where you say, oh, I found the Holy Grail and next week I'm out of the bush. No, it's not the way it works. But the way I see it is, everybody who's using official treatments, they'll never get out of trouble, because they'll still suffer with the pains and the insomnia, the heat flashes, the risk of diabetes, the man boobs, or whatever kind of side effects, adverse events that will have from the official treatments. And they will have those problems right until the day they die. And what they've done is just prolonging their life with that kind of agony and compromises, whatever they like to live with. I'm doing the same thing, you could say, but the difference is I do not have that adverse events. I'm also prolonging life, but I'm doing it with high quality. So 1.5 years ago, it was a shot in the dark. I had no idea whether it would work or not. At this point, I can honestly say it does work, and it has definitely been worth it, whatever it is, because for no other reason than it's 1.5 years that's been gone by that things has not progressed as far as I understand, based on my PSA and based on how I feel. I know that people that will still say you cannot say that unless you also follow up on your scans and all that. But all in good time. Right now, I decide that the little money that I do have, I want to spend that doing improvements on my treatments and improvements on my research, rather than I want to spend it on an MRI scan, or even worse so, a PSMA PET scan, because that's just too much money for answers that I don't really need. Because if I go down and I get an MRI scan, which would be the most logical thing for me to do, because it's the cheapest thing and it's fairly safe compared to a PSMA PET scan where they inject you with this radioactive stuff. Well, if it comes back and say, well, yeah, you have metastases and it has been spreading. It's not been spreading much, I can definitely say that, the way I feel, but it has. What would I then do? Nothing but what I'm doing right now, because people have had stage 4 spread to bones and spread to lungs, spread to livers, and spread all over the body, and they have embarked on the alternative treatment and won the battle. So for me, it would just mean, all right, I'm not there yet, and I'll continue doing what I'm doing. So why should I have an expense of making an MRI to conclude that I should continue what I'm doing anyway? That's just the way I see it. As I've mentioned before, if my health is deteriorating, like now when we got some issues with the liver numbers, and we probably got some issues, or maybe not probably, but there might be some problem with the kidney issues. Yes, that's something I have to keep a close eye on. It does not necessarily have to be related to prostate cancer. It can be, maybe it's not. But I have to follow up on it, sure. But it's not something I necessarily need to spend a lot of money on scans to follow up on. I can just do the blood work, and blood work is so much cheaper. So that's where we are here in the beginning of the year 2025. We have today the 10th of January. I really like it. I really like it. I'm looking so much forward to the gear that comes in, and I'm looking so much forward to make high quality RSO. High quality RSO. So that's back to the topic. I don't think I finished that one. I just don't understand how much information that is fluctuating out there about RSO that works when you have all the ingredients compromised because of the way it's made. I know that the Rick Simpson, he did it with the RSO, but it was skin cancer that he treated with it. It's a different thing. And I think that's one of the reasons why we don't see all that much success among the people using the RSO. I firmly believe that it does work, but one of the things that Rick Simpson says, and that is what I've followed up on, is that it is important that you have a strong THC levels. And that's what I've done, and the ratio has to be 4:1. So THC 4 and CBD 1. But when I'm now looking at the data that I have, it seems that both THC and CBD has good properties, but it is the CBD that is really the game changer. It is really there where you find the hardcore properties for cancer treatment. And you also find a lot of the properties that you need in the CBDA and the THCA. And the CBDA and THCA is the component in the plant before it's decarboxylated. It's before you activate it so that you get the psychedelic effects of the THC. And that's what they all do with the RSO. They are activating it. And when you're activating, you're just basically converting the CDA and THCA to CBD and THC. And that's what I've done. So I've just eradicated some very important properties. In addition to the fact that I've had the wrong ratio, I have 4:1 THC to CBD, while I had to have 4:1 CBD to THC. So I've just ordered 1 kilo of CBD plants, and let's see how that's gonna work. Really looking forward to it. So until next time, as always, stay happy, healthy, and get out there and enjoy the world.